Hello, good morning. A very warm welcome to you today. I hope you're all doing well. Little disclaimer before we start. I am meant to be having some people come to start fitting my floor today. It's 10 o'clock and they've not yet arrived. So I've left the door on the catch and hopefully they'll be able to let themselves in. But if you do hear a little bit of hellos coming through, or I might have to go and say and wave to them, then it is what it is. I hope you're okay today. I'm going to be making some lovely little jade bracelets. It's quite dark in here, but we've got some lovely colours on the mat. We've got 4 colours to choose from. We've got lots of lovely metals to choose from in terms of your finish. It is, I suppose, chainmaille, but it's only chainmaille because you're just linking a few jump rings together. It's not anything too complicated. We've got some lovely dyed jade as well, really pretty colours for you, and they're faceted, so they've got extra sparkle. Good morning to Fairness Born. She says good morning from a sunny Barrow, and hello to Nina. I'm going to take you straight over to the website now because this is the important bit, isn't it? And a very simple make. So I want to make sure that if we do have any disturbances, then we've got the basics down. So over we go to totallybeads.co.uk, which is where you can find today's tutorial. If you want to watch back at any point, you can find us on there. And if you want to get your kits, I would suggest you have a little look and make the utmost of the offer today, because we have a fabulous deal for you. So we head into the video tutorial section, or the jewellery making section, and it'll say, if I hover over, usually says learn to make jewelry, so you can click on it there as well. We've had a bit of a rejudge. You can click in it here, or you can click here, whichever you prefer. And today you'll see I've named these bracelets Leonie. So Leonie jade bracelets, if I click into them, you can see our offer for you today. They are just £7.99, but you're making I think it's 2 bracelets up in each kit, and we've also got a 2 for 14. Now I do think these jade colours look beautiful together. I'm going to demonstrate today how it would look if you add the green, moss green, and the cream together. So if you want to do that 2 for 14, you can get those beads, and you can see how it would look. The berry is absolutely beautiful. You do get different shades within each kit. I would say the moss green is most uniform. You do get different shades in there, but then if you were looking for something like the blue nude, you've got pinks in there. You've got different shades of kind of, they're not quite teal, just a really lovely blue. And then obviously in your mixed berries, you've got more kind of cherries and pinks, and in your creams you've got some lemons as well. So they do change, and I have cherry picked out the beads that I like really. So this one is your Leonie bracelet in the berry colour. Now in your kits you're going to get your dyed jade beads, so they've got that beautiful colour, your jump rings, your magnetic clasps, and your eye pins. So the jump ring size I'm using today are 5x1 outer diameter. This colourway is in the rose gold, so you've got a light copper plate clasp, and then you've got your gold, rose gold coloured jump rings and pins as well, and I think they tie in nicely together. I'll show you them down on the mat so you can see how those metal tones look. So this one is your berries, and it is making up 2 bracelets. I also think they do make lovely necklaces. So if you wanted to add a bit of chain in, or you wanted to get that multi-buy, you could get your multi-buy and you could get 2 for 14. You could buy 2 sets of the same colour, and then you've got plenty there to make a full necklace with as well. So you can mix and match your colours, or you can just multi-buy on the same colourway. So £7.99. This is the Leonie jade bracelet in berry. We've also got the blue nude, which is £7.99 or 2 for £14. And again, we've got those lovely components for you, all the same in terms of your sizes, your eye pins, your magnetic clasp, your jump rings. It's just the colour that changes. So I'm using rhodium coloured for this, which will be your magnetic clasp, which is 8mm in size, your rhodium coloured pins and jump rings. And then if you have a little look in this picture here, you can see how the colours look. So you've got different shades of pink, some peaches, some gorgeous kind of deep, beautiful blues, really, really pretty. You might get the odd light blue one in there as well. So you can pick out if you think, actually, I want this kit and I just want an all blue toned bracelet, or I want all the pink tones, then you can pick out the beads that you want. You're going to have loads of these beads left over. I don't know how many is in a bag. It says there's a mix of 60 pieces. I'm using 11 for one bracelet. So you can see you're going to have enough probably to pick out the colours that you like. And if you do want to do a little pattern of your colours and tones, you can see I've done more of a whiter one and then a pink and then the blue, and then I've kind of got that going round. And so you can choose a pattern of colour as well within this kit. So that one is your blue nude. We've got the cream, which I'm going to demonstrate for you today. This is on the gold finish, and you can see the different tones in there. We've got some kind of lemons, some creams, some kind of more brown toned ones. Really, really pretty. I'm going to mix this demonstration up today in terms of colour, so I'm going to use the moss green as well. But all of your dimensions, this is a nice picture. These pictures are good to see what kind of shades that you're going to get in there. So again, you can pick out the ones that you want. You're going to have plenty of beads left over. And then lastly, we have this gorgeous moss green as well. I think this is on the champagne. It is. So I've used a gold clasp. So a little bit different in terms of your metal, but it looks nice and toned together. And then you've got your champagne findings and these beautiful moss greens. Now it is called moss green because you'll notice it's got like mossy, like kind of not inclusions but colours to it. These are dyed jade, so it takes the colour really lovely, but they've got some like mottled kind of pieces in there, plenty of beads to play with, and a really straightforward make. So if you like a bit of chainmaille but you're not too confident in maybe, you know, getting through things through the eye, that, you know, all that jazz, you don't need to worry. We are literally just linking jump rings to jump rings, and some I'm just popping on the pin to give that lovely effect. So they are really straightforward and simple to make. All of your Leonie Jade bracelets today are just £7.99 or 2 for 14. So have a little look on the website and you can see what you think and what you like the look of mostly. I'm going to say a quick hello to everybody, and then we're going to get started and we're going to get making. So back into the comments we go. I've got lots of you in, so thank you so much for being with me this morning. Good morning to Kelly. She says, morning from Wolverhampton. Long time no see. I haven't caught a live for a long time. I haven't seen your name pop up for a while, Kelly. I hope you're doing well. I hope the new year has been kind to you so far and you had a lovely Christmas. Nice to see you back. Hopefully you get a little bit of time to do a little bit making. Good morning to Gillian as well. Good morning to you. She says it's rainy in London. It's very overcast. Not raining yet, but it was raining heavy last night. It was very foggy as well yesterday, which means I didn't get a chance to see the Northern Lights, but the night before you could see them if you were looking through the camera. So have you got to see them? I love seeing like natural phenomena, and the Aurora Borealis was something I always wanted to see. I was like, I'm going to go travel, I'm going to go, that's one thing on my bucket list, and then I've managed to see it now from my own garden in Merseyside. I don't have to travel. So did you get to see them? What's the weather doing where you are? Good morning to Janice. How are you doing? She says she's in a windy and rainy Swansea. It was really windy yesterday, foggy-ish in the morning, and then really windy in the afternoon. Good morning to Joanne. She says, hello, absolutely chucking it down in Coventry today all night. So it's a wet one. It's a wet one in the UK. Good morning to Sally. How are you doing? She says, miserable weather in Barnsley. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Mina says she's got her beads and jump rings ready to make later, and she's got lots of beads and jump rings to give a go. So in terms of the sizes of the jump rings that I'm using, they're 5x1 today. You could probably do them a little bit bigger. I think a little bit smaller would be very fiddly, and you want to make sure that having that 1mm has got what would be 18 gauge if you work in that respect. It's just going to be strong and sturdy. I do love Totally Beads jump rings. I think they're really gorgeous quality. They really hold their shape. They're really good to work with. And sometimes if you go down a smaller size, the gauge changes as well. This all links through to each other really, really nicely. And you're going to be turning a little loop. So in terms of your tools, you're going to need some cutters, some round nose pliers, and I'm using 2 pairs of chain nose pliers just to open and close my jump ring. You could use a jump ring opener, which is like a ring, but I think that would be really quite fiddly, to be honest, to try and get it into where you need to. So 2 pairs of chain nose pliers are perfect for this make. But minimal tools and just lovely components. Good morning to Kath. Good morning to Carol. Camille's in as well. She says it's yucky here. Good morning to Elaine. You're not late, don't worry. The floor people are, but you're not Elaine. Good morning to Joanne. She says it's dry, but it's cloudy in Leicester. I think Mina's saying to Joanne. Sheila's in as well. And Mina's saying she loves these dyed beads. They're beautiful. They do take a colour really gorgeous. And I think there's nothing wrong with having a dyed gemstone, as long as if you're selling your makes, your customers know, and obviously we're making together, but I am showing you the goods. So as long as I'm clear with you that these are dyed, they are not naturally this colour, they are really beautiful, then each to their own. I've got no problem with a dyed bead. You think if you're using a pearl, they'll often get bleached. If you're using a glass pearl or any other beads, then they use dye and kind of paint type colours on them. So all good. Good morning to Joanne. She says the M1 divide is at its best. Is that in terms of the weather? Rani's in as well. Hello to you. She says a cold day. She gives me brewer faces. Good morning to Yolanda. Oh, Yolanda says, everybody just gotten back from my crafty cruise in the Royal Caribbean. I hope you had a wonderful time, Yolanda. What did you make on your crafty cruise? Just sounds like the best holiday. I wouldn't want to go with anyone else though, like without being mean. I wouldn't want to go with my family. I just want to go and craft. I wouldn't want my son with me or my husband, just me and the crafts. Good morning to Joanne in a very wet and windy Sudbury. Robin's in as well. Hello to you, sweetheart. She says, good morning, Lady Natalie. Happy New Year. Hope all is well with you and your family. We are good, thank you. And many happy returns to you. Mina's saying, making later as I need to finish my tax return today. Plus, no car. As son has passed his driving test, he has. Congratulations to him. And Jan saying, lovely bracelets. I've got my car booked in for loads of work, and honestly it would be cheaper to just get a new car, but I've had her since I started driving and I won't part with her. I'm very attached to her. There you go. So let me take you down on the mat. Let's get making. They might not turn up till 11 o'clock. That might be handy. I might have it all made before they turn up. So this is your nude colourway. I'm going to show you each bracelet up against the bag of beads so you can see the colours that you're getting in these. There are light blues, maybe kind of tealy turquoise type blues. You've got pinks. You've got kind of paler pinks, a little bit of peachy tone. So when I've put my bracelets together, I'm working with 11 beads usually in total for this length. You can see how the length is fitting. I think they're about 8 inches, are they? Just shy, so maybe 7 and 3/4. But if you want to make it longer, you just add more on. You're going to have plenty of beads either way. If you want to make it less, then you just put less in. But I have created a little kind of colour pattern with mine in terms of what I've been using, mixing it up. They're not in any particular order, but I've got some pinks. I've got some of the lighter tone ones. So that one is your nude and it's on the rhodium. You can see how easy it is to put on and off because I've got this beautiful spotted magnetic clasp. And they fit really cute and really comfortable. They've got a nice weight to them. The benefit of having a magnetic clasp is you can join them together with another one. And when I took them off, they made like a little necklace and I thought, ooh, that would be lovely. So if you want to make a necklace with these, make the most of that offer today. It is 2 kits for £14. So of course you can mix and match your colours, or you can just keep it as I want 2 kits of the blue nude, and then you've got lots of colours to work with in there as well. This one here is the cream on the gold. So again, I will show you the little bag that I've got so you can pick out the different tones that you want. There are lovely kind of lemony ones in there. We've got some kind of more mottled brown colours, some more vibrant yellow, and again, you're getting plenty in your bag. So although you're probably only going to need 11 for a bracelet, you can be choosy with your beads. Mina says I've made loads of Mobius bracelets with these jade beads. They're very, very pretty to work with. They are also slightly faceted. So if do clean my camera lens, I think it's a little bit foggy in here, not outside, but can you see there we've got those facets on them, so they're just going to twinkle as well. And this is on the gold colorway with that lovely clasp, really easy to get on and off. Then this one is your moss green, so I'm going to mix these colors up together I think today, because I think they would look lovely. I'm just going to use one of the metals, so I'm just going to use the gold, but I'm going to be mixing up the color of my beads. So again, with the moss, you can see we've got some lovely mossy tones in like a beautiful bottle green. Loads to choose from, loads left over. Now this is on the champagne colourway, but it does have a gold magnetic clasp, and I think I can be forgiven for popping that metal on there. I think it looks nice. These are quite long for me. Really easy. If you just want to make it shorter, you just take out some of those connections, you don't do as many. And then finally on the kind of rose gold, so we've got this copper, a light copper coloured clasp, and then I've got beautiful rose gold against these berry. Now you can see we've got some much lighter pinks, some kind of fuchsia colours, and some deep, almost kind of cherry plum. Good morning, nice to 25 Us or US. I hope you're doing well. She's watching in Arizona, so I'm guessing it's US. And she says, I watch you on TV mostly. Well, thank you so much for being with me today on my live. So head over to the Totally Beads website. You can get your kits today in whichever colours you want. We do have some other coloured jades as well, so if you think I'd really like to just buy some extra beads, then they are really gorgeous. I love how they clip together. So straightforward in terms of how to make. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open or rather close properly some of my jump rings. So I'm using these 5x1 outer diameters. What you'll see when you get your jump rings is when they're made on the dowel, they kind of cross over a little bit. You've got that little bit of overlapping. So what I like to do is I like to turn it a little bit towards me, twist to open, and then click back to fully close. And I'm just checking they're aligned. Can you see those two pieces meet perfectly now? So I'm going to make a little pile of these. If I'm using 11 connectors, like 11 beads, I'm going to be using, I think in total, 68 jump rings, and I want to have 44 of them closed. So I'm going to close them properly, just giving them a little twist. So to close and open my jump ring, I'm supporting it in between my pliers. I've got most of the surface area there. You can see that part where it opens is just sticking out the top. And with my dominant hand, I'm going to do the little twisting motion. I'm either turning it towards me or away from me. I'm not opening it outwards because I'm keeping that shape and I'm keeping it strong and sturdy. The more you open and close a jump ring, you're going to put a weakness in it here. So if I'm opening it really wide, like so, you see it's starting to twist the metal. You can open them wide, but you don't need to. So I just want to make sure that I'm just closing them nicely. As I say, the more you open and close them, the more you're going to put weaknesses on this bottom bit here. And by opening it out, you're going to distort that rounded shape. So I'm just going to make a little pile of closed jump rings. I'm going to need some open later, but just to start with, I'm going to make them nice and closed. So you can see those two pieces are aligned, Hi Heather, don't worry, I hope you're well. Sheila says these pink beads look lovely, they're all gorgeous. Joanne says the beads look like they've got more gentle sparkle, the colours are both rich and soft. What a lovely description. Joanne, you're doing a better job than me. I'm like, it's kind of like a berry, kind of teal, kind of pinkishy. So I'm just closing my jump rings up. If they are not fully connected at the top, then just give it a little move past the point where they meet, and then it should spring back closed. So once I've opened and closed, rather, my jump rings, they only say open because I like to just make sure that they're fully. You could just push them back, but I tend to give it a little turn towards me first. But I'm going to close a little pile of jump rings. I'm going to take my pins. Now the pins I've got here are eye pins. They have a loop already at the bottom. These are quite long eye pins. You don't need particularly long eye pins. They're all going to be included in your kit. But I'm going to take two of the jump rings that I have fully closed. Can you see, because I'm just threading these on, if they are open or not fully closed, they might catch on your skin, which we don't want, or they could fall off. So I'm just going to put them on. Now I'm using the 5x1. You'll notice that loop at the bottom already on should stop them from sliding off. They're all fairly uniform. So I'm going to just slide on two of my closed jump rings. I'm going to pick up one of my beads. This one is the moss with that beautiful facet on it. And then I'm going to take another two closed jump rings and slide them on. This is my little component. What I want to do now is I want to turn a loop on the other side. I'm not going to make too large of a loop. Also want to make it big enough to make sure that my other jump rings, when we connect them together, will fit through, because I'm going to double up and connect them with two of these jump rings. So for each one of your components, you're going to need four. 1, 2 on one side, 1, 2 on the other side. I'm then going to come in with my pliers. So I'm just taking my chain nose and I'm going to bend my pin. So I'm going to push down so I'm close to that jump ring. And I want my loop to face in the same direction, essentially. So at the moment you can see it's this way round, facing upwards. If I bend my pin back, and I'm going to bend it close to the jump ring, so I'm almost at a 90-degree angle. I'm then going to flip it, and I'm going to come in with my cutters, and I'm going to cut about 1 centimetre from that bend. So I'm going to have 1 centimetre between here, and I'm just going to hold on to the end of that pin while I cut so it doesn't fire away. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to bring it here. So I'm just probably a couple of millimetres up from the end. I'm not right at the very tip. You can see my round nose pliers are tapered. You could use, if you wanted to, bail step making pliers to create that wrapped loop, and then they're going to be the same size each time. But I like my round nose. So I'm supporting those jump rings just at the top of that bead so they don't slide up and into the way of my loop. And I'm going to give it a little flick up, reposition my hand, and just turn that loop all the way round until it's sitting nice and neatly on the top. And my jump ring shouldn't come over that loop. Now I'm going to make 11 of these. So you can, if you've picked your colourway, say for example you're choosing the berries, you might want to pick out the shades that you want. You might want them all to be the same. You might want some darker ones and lighter ones, whatever you want to. So 2 jump rings on, and then my bead, and then another 2 jump rings, making sure I'm using my closed jump rings. Giving it a little bend, and then I'm going to cut off roughly about 1 centimetre is left on my pin from the bend. And then my round nose again, I'm going to make sure it's flush so it's not sticking out the other end. If I've got a pin sticking out between the pliers, as I flick it up, that bit won't turn. So I'm going to support those jump rings just between my finger and my thumb to keep them in place. I'm going to make sure my well, we've got to make sure we're holding on to it. So let's just pick them up and slide them on again. So you can see if the jump ring does slide down, you can just pick it back up and slide it back on. So I'm keeping it nice and flush between my finger, between the jaws of the plier, supporting it with my finger, and then I'm just going to do a little flick. So I'm creating like a little bend on it. Can you see how that started to turn? And then I'm just repositioning my pliers. So I'm putting it back in the same space, but now my knuckles are facing away from me, and little rotations all the way around, not putting too much pressure on my hand, is just turning that loop. Now, if my pin isn't sitting straight, so I've got one loop facing one way and one loop facing the other way, what I can do is I can take my chain nose pliers and just give it a little twist. And then I've got two loops over the other side. Alison's saying, could I also use my looper tool? You could, yeah. I've got a looper tool here. I prefer to do it by hand. Let's see how we get on with our looper tool. So popping on my jump rings, popping on my bead, popping on my other jump ring. Now what we want to do is if we are using our looper tool, we want our pin to go right through to the other side, and we want to push up close against those jump rings if possible. So we don't want the jump ring getting in the way, we just want it next to where, as I turn it, it's going to do that. I tend to find you get a little bit more space between the jump ring and the loop itself. But I'm just going to bend that back and come in with my round nose just to make sure it's fully closed. So you can use your looper tool if you prefer, but it doesn't take very long. All I'm going to be doing is making up 11 of these. So once again, I've got my jump rings, my gorgeous faceted bead, which are around 6mm in size, and another 2 jump rings. Don't know what happened there. If you are, oh, okay. Camera's deciding it wants to show you this again. That's absolutely fine. It's listening to me, isn't it? So if you wanted to say, for example, get the, I don't know, the rhodium colourway with the blue nude, and you wanted to mix your metals up and maybe put that with the gold of the cream, what you could do, take you back onto the mat, is you could put your jump rings on the different pins, and then you could connect them with the other colour metal of the jump rings when we start to piece them together. So not only can you mix the colours of your beads, you can mix your mixed metals if you were multi-buying as well. So I'm going to bend, and I'm bending fairly close. There's a tiny little space between that jump ring, just where the tip of my pliers have been. Cutting off, leaving approximately a centimetre. Keep hold of the pin as you cut it. You can see I can just support it with my fingers. We don't want that firing off around the room. Reposition the pliers, little rotations all the way around to create that loop on the other side. And then one more for good luck. I've got 2 closed jump rings, a bead, and 2 more closed jump rings. Gonna push down against the bead, so I want these jump rings to be fairly flush against that loop. Give it a little bend horizontally. Bending it first will mean when that is rolled back on that pin, my pin should sit neatly at the top. Trimming off. And if you have got bits of pin left over, metal's expensive now, so keep them. It's really easy to make your own pins with your offcuts. I'll show you how to do that as well. Just making it flush, little flick up, little rotations all the way around to get that link at the top. So if I've got a bit of an offcut, I can make that into a pin. So I'm just going to roll it with my round nose pliers into a P shape. You see it's not sitting in the center. I'm going to pop my round nose pliers back in. and then bend the pin back so I've centered that loop. So you can make your own eye pins, and then you'd be able to slide on a bead and then make your other loop. You could as well, if you wanted to, take your offcut and use your looper tool. You don't need to stick it all the way through because you don't need to cut it off. So we're just going to have it like so and bend it that way. I do tend to always come back in just to make sure it's fully closed, but it's worth keeping, and then you've got those extras in your stash. When I've created 11 of my beads, I'm going to position them in the colour order that I like. So I'm just going to alternate today between the moss and the cream. And I'll be starting with the cream and finishing with the cream. And then I'm going to take more of my jump rings, still the same size, and I'm just going to start piecing them together. Now, it doesn't matter too much if these ones haven't been closed because I'm going to open them. So I'm going to open up one jump ring and I'm going to slide it through one of my looped connectors, and then pick up my next bead and slide that through before I close it over. And I'm going to make sure that it's closed nicely. So take your time just to make sure that you're doing a neat job. I'm then going to pick up another jump ring and I'm going to slide that through. So you don't have to double up the jump rings, but I think it looks nice to do so. So I'm going to hook that through. You should get 2 jump rings through the loops, even the ones that you haven't made. Slide that through, and then I'm going to connect it on through the other loop. So I'm just going through the same point, just the 2 loops, and then close that over. Give a little wiggle if they're not quite joining. So I've got 2 jump rings just linked through those 2 connectors, and I'm just going to go along and do that for the length that I require. So picking it up and hooking it through, and then closing it over. So technically, I think if you're using jump rings, your technique would be chainmaille. Laura has a lovely live coming up for you where it looks, I bet you it's not complicated, but it's going to be more complicated than this. All I'm doing is just hooking one jump ring through the 2 loops on the connector on the pin to attach them together, and then doing that with another one in exactly the same way. Picking up my jump ring, a little twist to open. I don't have to open it too wide. And if you wanted to, you could just connect them with one jump ring as well. I think it gives a bit more of a kind of texture when you're doubling them up. But if you want to just connect it through once, then you can do that too. If you want to, you can connect it all once and then go back through and add in your doubled up. It's picking up the jump ring, a little turn to open, hooking through one, attaching through the other. So I'm not going through the jump rings on the pin, I'm just going through the loop on the pin. So I'm hooking through the loop on the pin, and then through the loop on the opposite bead, like so. Joanne saying, oh, I love a bit of chainmail. I mean, as I say, I'd call it chainmail because I'm using jump rings, but it's not complicated, is it? Sheila says, simple round jump rings are so versatile, creating lovely pieces of jewellery. I agree. Have a lovely day in work, Heather, and I hope you are well. Have a lovely day and get to catch up later. Esther saying, morning all from a sad looking day here in Preston. The weather is what it is, isn't it? I think if you can stay in, keep warm and keep making, I don't mind. It's when I have to go out in it. Yolanda says, Natalie, is the 214 just for the UK? I put some in the cart, but nothing's getting that discount. No, it should be worldwide, my love. So I will see if I can change the currency and add into my basket. But no, it should be worldwide. I usually check with Simon, who is the person who makes the magic happen. He puts all the kits together for me with the warehouse team. So I say, I need this, I need that, and then he comes up with the costing of it all. But yeah, usually it's worldwide, so don't see why it would be any different today. Don't forget as well, as I explained last live, we do have a points scheme too. So every time you spend, you get some points accrued, and you can, when you get 250 points, you can get money off. And I think that would be applicable for dollars or euros as well. So I will have a little look for you. If it isn't working, Yolanda, and you are struggling with it, you can message the warehouse team in an email, but I will follow up with that anyway, and I will let him know as soon as I finish the live, and they can sort that out for you. So all I'm doing now is just piecing my bracelet together. It comes together really quickly. I'm not going through the jump ring, I'm just going through the loop. So just position your beads as you want it. Make sure you've got purchase on your jump ring to close. If it clicks, put it down, give yourself a little pat on the back, because there's nothing more satisfying than listening to that sound where the jump ring, oh, I'm saying that sound, I think we got the road sweeper going past, so you might just hear that instead in the background. So closing up the jump ring, opening up another one. So for 11 beads, I think I'm using 68 jump rings in total. I'm using 4 jump rings on each bead and then just doubling up through the center. Nice, quick, easy make. These are our Leonie Jade bracelets. So I'm using the gorgeous dyed jade and lovely outer diameter 5x1 jump rings just to attach them all together. There's lots of lovely shades in your colours, and we do have an offer on today which should be applicable worldwide. If you, where was the one that I've just done, is this side. If you want to mix your metals, I do love mixed metal jewellery. Sliding that on through both. And closing. Morning, Joe. As to say, a great way to use up the many thousands of jump rings. These ones are the perfect size, Esther. The 5x1s, as I say, they are nice and sturdy enough. They're not too flimsy in terms of the gauge, but also size-wise, they just hook through really nice. So you could go up. You could probably do it with a 6x1. But we want to make sure that our loops aren't too big and that the jump rings fit around the loops on the pins and aren't going to slide off. So for me, for this design is the Goldilocks make. You want to make sure you can get both of your jump rings through the loop as well. Don't want to go through the jump ring you just put on, so just give it a little twist into position. Wiggle to close. And then my last one, I'm going to give it position to align it. Attach on my beads. I love these colours together. It's like a lemon and lime version. And then all I need to do is attach on my magnetic clasp when I've finished assembling it and I've got the length that I want. And you see how easy it would be as well if you don't want to have it as long as this, then you just don't add as many beads to each other. So I'm just going to hook that last one through and close it up. And say, take your time with it, make sure that you're closing your jump rings nicely. And then you're going to give it that lovely professional finish. What have I done with that one? There you go. So to attach my magnetic clasp, you've got 2 little loops on the bottom of each side of your clasp, that lovely strong magnet. And it's got this lovely kind of spotted effect. Could you show and close up the adding of the jump rings just now? Yeah, of course. You want me to just show you how to open and close one? So when you get them out your bag, Sheila, they're going to be probably like this. Can you see how one's slightly on top of the other? When you make a jump ring, all you need to do, or what would be happening in the factory that they're made, is you've got a long length of wire, this being 1mm or 18 gauge, and it's wrapped round and round and round a dowel, and then they're just kind of sewn or cut in the middle. So when they're cut, they tend to have that staggered position. Let's move this up a bit so you can see. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to support it with a pair of pliers and keep the opening at the top, just so I can see it. I'm going to give it a little turn towards me to open and a turn away to close. It's literally just that movement, nothing too taxing and nothing too strenuous on your wrist. So it's just the way my knuckles move. My less dominant hand stays still. So if you're left or right-handed, you can do this, just swap it over. So my less dominant hand stays still, supporting that jump ring, and my dominant hand, if you watch my knuckles, are just going towards me and away from me. And then we want it to line up. So those 2 pieces now are joined. Sometimes it clicks, which you know I love, because I think, oh, it's closed properly. But the tip is you want to try and get it so you can barely see where that opening is. When it comes to attaching it onto my clasp, onto my bracelet, I'm only going to add 1 jump ring through my clasp. I'm not going to get 2 jump rings through this. So I'm just going to add 1 onto that last link, or my last loop, and then closing it. I'm just taking the tip rather than using all of it this time. You can, but I just want to make sure I've got space to get in, really. So I'm just going to open it up again. Ooh, little turn towards me, sliding that through the link or the loop on the magnetic clasp, and then through that last link of the bracelet. And then again, taking 2 pairs of pliers and just giving it a little close. So you could do it with a jump ring opener, which is, I always say I've got one somewhere. It's like a little ring that goes on your finger, but I just think it's too fiddly. 2 pairs of pliers. You can use chain nose pliers, you can use flat nose pliers. Chain nose I think are perfect because they've got those little tapered edges, so I can get in to that spot really easily. What you want to make sure is that your pliers are smooth on the inside. Some pliers you can get have got like jagged jaws, and that's just going to mar and mark your metal. So there you have your gorgeous bracelet. This one is the Leonie Jade bracelet, and it's in the cream and moss green colourway. I'm using the gold combination of pins, jump rings and clasp, which comes with the cream. So you've got your berry, which is on your copper clasp, your light copper clasp, and that's with your rose gold findings. You've got the moss green on the champagne colourway, and you have the blue nude, which is pinks and blues, and that's on rhodium. So 4 different colours to choose from today. They're all £7.99, making almost an 8-inch bracelet. 2 bracelets, sorry, you're getting enough to make 2. They're quite long, so you might find that you've got even more bits and bobs left over. That clasp is gorgeous, and you could wear that as a feature, I think. Really nice and easy to get on and off. I can do it with one hand, do it with my eyes closed. So they're all £7.99 or 2 for 14. If you need to change your currency, if I can very quickly go back onto the website. It just decided before it wanted to bring it up, and now it's like, no, I'm hiding. You didn't want me then. So if you go back onto the website, you can change your currency here, and then if you wanted to change it into dollars, you can just click down, and that will show you that it'll say 2 for 14 still on the offer, but it should still change that for you. So you've got it now at $9.04. So let's quick add that one, and if we double it and then add it to basket, it should give you the discount. If it doesn't, I will check that at the end of the live and see if we can get that rectified for you, because we would like you to make the most of that offer today. So don't forget, you get your points as well if you buy anything at all. It all comes with points. I'll take you back onto that bit, because what do points make? Oh, there you go. That's good, isn't it? Ooh, didn't know about that. I haven't made the most of that offer for a little while. Enjoy free UK delivery when you spend £40 or more. Oh, it's worth having a big shop. But yeah, you will have seen. Oh, there you go. Enjoy 10%. Look at all this. Look at all this. I didn't read. Oh, look. But yeah, if you just wait here long enough, it will give me a little reward points. So anytime you spend £1, you get up to 2 reward points. So you'll find if you shop like me, you'll accrue them quite quickly. Once you've got 250 reward points, you get £2.50 off your purchase. You don't have to use it. You might want to do what I usually do and wait and think, oh, I've got more now, so I'll save my points. You automatically collect your points as you shop with us, and your points never expire. That's the favourite thing, I think personally, about our point system, is that you can shop with us. We've had quite a few people today who have not been with you for a while, have not seen you for a while, so you can take a few months out. You can come back a year later. Your points will still be there for as long as your account is with us. So these words today are lovely Leonie Jade bracelets. I hope you've liked them, and thank you so much for being with me. Mina says, I just checked and the offer is applied in the basket. Fairness Born says, very pretty. Thank you, Natalie. Joe says, very nice. I'm feeling my beading mojo returning. Good. I'm glad, because life's good when you're making stuff. Also, I do think they look really lovely stacked and layered. So if you want to stack and layer them up, you absolutely can. And if you want to, I love the fact you can just pull them off because they're sturdy, because you've done your jump rings. They look gorgeous layered. They also look really lovely as a necklace. If you want a multi-buy, how gorgeous would that be? Kat says, pretty bracelet. Thank you very much. Sheila says, I like the point system. It covers the postage on some occasions. That's what I do. Joanne says, I guess I'll be grabbing these in time for my birthday, and then I can choose which one I want to wear on the day. Oh, that's lovely. This is it as a necklace. Again, I probably wouldn't have it as long, but there you go. You can see them. These are the Leonie Jade bracelets turned into a necklace. Really straightforward and really easy. And then what's also lovely is the magnetic clasps. You can swap and change. So you can say, I'm going to have it as a necklace and I'm going to have it as a bracelet. And then when I want to make it longer, you can just connect them with the magnets. There you go. I'm liking that today. I'm going to be back with you on, what day are we on? It's Wednesday today, isn't it? I'm going to be back with you on Monday and making some pretty bracelets on Monday. I have named them Jada, because I'm going to be using the jade again, only this time I'm going to be using big faceted jade, and I've got gorgeous little kind of flower beads. So I think when I say big faceted jade, it's 8mm that I'm going to be using, and I've got gorgeous big large clasps as well. So I'm going to be doing some bracelets with you on Monday, which is the 26th of January already. And then on the Wednesday, I've got some pretty crystal necklaces as well. Joe's saying, I love that as a necklace. It's cute, isn't it? Mr. Trick, or have I? Variety is the spice of life. So if you can come and be with me next week, I would love to see you. Until then, I'm glad we didn't have any disturbances. I'm just telling you all my business for nothing. I'll probably go in and my house has been ransacked because my front door was open. Thanks for being with me. I hope you all have a really, really lovely rest of the week and a fabulous weekend. And I will